Today we're driving the 2023 Electrified Genesis G80. This is one that I've been looking forward to. We have a 282-mile EPA-rated driving range. This is dual motor, all-wheel drive, makes 365 horsepower. This G80 is based on the Prestige trim, costs around $80,000, pretty much a fully loaded Genesis G80. The Sport Prestige with the 3.5 turbo costs about $72,000, so this is about $8,000 more expensive than the top trim internal combustion engine G80. We did a review on one of those recently. It was fantastic, loved it, and pretty much the same story with this Electrified G80. Let's walk you around this. We'll show you what it looks like inside and out, take it for a drive, and give you guys some thoughts on what it's been like to live with this week. As you can see, it looks pretty much identical to the ICE G80. The only difference is because we have a 87.2 kilowatt hour battery pack in the floor pan, we have slightly higher seating positions in the front and rear seats, so you get a little bit less headroom. You feel like you're seated up a little bit higher in this sedan, and I get the feeling like I just want to push my seat down just another inch or so. I'm 5'10". I actually fit very comfortably in here, but if you're over 6'2" or so, you might be running into, some issues with the visor getting in your way or the mirror kind of impeding your vision a little bit. But for the most part, a very comfortable cabin despite the higher seating position. On the outside, this Genesis G80 is pretty much indiscernible from the standard ICE car. Again, can't really tell much of a difference. Wheels look pretty standard. No electric badges. The only thing you might notice if you have a super keen eye is that the front grille is mostly blocked off. Can you guys guess where the charge port is? That's also pretty well hidden too. It's right here on the driver's side, right up front. We've got two covers, one for your standard level 1 or level 2 charger in the garage, and then the other for the DC fast charger. This can charge from 10 to 80% in about 22 minutes with a 350 kilowatt hour charger. Pretty fast charge rate. Car and driver also achieved 280 miles of highway range in this G80, which is pretty impressive. Today it's a little bit chilly out, about 30 degrees Fahrenheit, so we're getting a little bit less range than we would normally in the cold weather, but overall I've actually been pretty impressed with how far this G80 goes on a charge this week. I think this is a really good looking car. The G80 in my mind has always been kind of the sweet spot, that Goldilocks perfect size, perfectly balanced, really well made vehicle in the Genesis lineup. Drives so much better than the GV80. It's just a really nice overall package. You can see we get slightly less trunk space in the back of this G80. I think it's 2 cubic feet less than you would normally, so still a pretty usable trunk space. There's even some room under this panel right here. Let's take a look in the back seat. Got a nice pass-through. Rear window shade. Nice looking armrest. A couple of cup holders. Of course, you can bring this up for a center seat. Rear climate control vents and buttons. Side window shades. Yeah, just a really nice backseat area. I can feel the slightly higher seating position. I'm 5'10" and sat all the way back. I have about maybe an inch of headroom. I think if you were taller back here, you'd definitely run into the roof. But for the most part, pretty comfortable space still, despite that higher floor pan. Love the interior color, the trimming, the exposed open pore wood. This is a Lexicon audio system. 275 40 R19 tires in the back and 245s up front. No frunk, you just get a big electric motor and a bunch of orange cables under there. I guess we can show you guys that. Since this isn't a ground up EV platform, it's impressive that they've been able to outfit this in the way that they have. given that this is originally an ICE vehicle. Two different coolant colors. One says not to touch the mechanic, one says not to touch the coolant. Very good. All right, let's hop in. We'll show you around the front seat a little bit, and then we'll take this for a drive. We have this massive center screen, which is also a touch screen. A little bit long of a reach for a touch screen, but you get this scroll wheel, which is easily confusable with the gear selector dial. Not the best design decision right here, in my opinion, but after living with this car for some time, you do get used to it. Two cup holders right here, wireless charging down there, which has worked pretty well this week. A couple USB ports, nicely sized center console. Everything is lined with this very nice, grippy, soft felt. Reduces NVH with all of your items stored away. Same with the glove box, nothing's going to slide around in there either. Some physical controls and climate buttons. Easy access with a screen for heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats. We'll actually turn a couple of those on. And you've got auto, medium, high fan speed settings. Actually, you get a little haptic feedback with this touchscreen. Feels pretty good. You have some quick access buttons right here. You have a favorite button, which you can program to a number of different things. We'll set that as our iPhone projection. I don't believe this G80 has wireless CarPlay, so you do have to use a cable connection. A little bit of an oversight, in my opinion, for this price and category, but you can always get a little wireless adapter on Amazon. I've had one in my BRZ and it works pretty well. Heated steering wheel is nicely heated on all elements, on all sides. We've got some buttons here for cruise control, highway driving assist, pretty standard looking gauge cluster. You've got a power meter on the right, speedometer on the left. Here's your charge level, and there is your level of regen, which you can control using the paddle shifters. You have iPedal, one pedal driving, just like you do in the Hyundai Ioniq 5 or Kia EV6, and then you can control your levels of regenerative braking right there. We'll test that out on the road. It defaults to kind of this 3/4 level of regen off throttle. Physical controls to the left here for gauge cluster illumination. You can pop your trunk, raise it up, raise it down, turn off traction control. There's your parking brake. 2-seat memory settings. Another button up here for that rear window shade. Love how quickly that goes up and down. Then of course you've got the classic Genesis controls here for the passenger seat so that you can make yourself a little bit more comfortable in that second row there. Yeah, very nice interior. No sunroof, slick top here. Nice looking reverse and 360 camera. You can hear there's a slight beeping noise from underneath the vehicle to warn people that you're backing up. All right, let's head out. We'll take this for a drive. It speeds below 25 miles per hour. This makes a slight humming sound. If you're wearing headphones, listening to the binaural audio like you should be watching these videos, you can probably hear it. And then once you get above 25 miles an hour, that vanishes. Oh, real quickly, we'll pull off here. I'll show you guys what the key fob looks like. Some neat features here. You can park in and park out this Genesis G80, much like you can with a lot of Hyundai, Kia, Genesis products, also known as Smart Pack. If you guys have seen the commercials, it's Smart Park. And that's pretty useful if you want to change parking spaces, your meter's about to run out or something, who knows. Lock, unlock, hold to start, pop the trunk, and of course turn on your lights and sound the alarm. All right, we'll set off here and take this thing for a drive. I have yet to drive the new Genesis GV60, but upon first impressions, this drives very similarly to a lot of other Hyundai, Kia EV products. Super smooth inputs. Nice throttle response with a little bit of smoothing going on. You get 3 drive modes: Comfort, Sport, and Eco. Comfort mode is a nice, blended, balanced drive mode. Sport mode really increases throttle response. And then Eco mode dulls things down quite a bit. And of course you get changes in the gauge cluster too. This also has Genesis's 3D gauge cluster, which is super cool. It uses eye tracking tech, which you can probably see right here is little purple infrared lights in the camera. I can't see that with my naked eye, and it'll show you this 3D cluster view. Because a camera shows you a 2D image, you're not going to be able to see that, so we'll just turn it back to our standard cluster. We have an all-wheel drive power distribution menu right here, a head-up display, turn signal cameras, which is just a super useful feature. Pretty quiet car. Really nice levels of NVH. Not too loud over bumps, despite these larger 19-inch wheels. Nice ride. Steering's a little bit on the heavy side, but you do get used to it. These seats are very comfortable too. Tons of adjustment. I can tighten up the bolsters on the sides. Plenty of lumbar settings. And they warm up pretty well for cold weather driving too. Alright, let's put us into sport mode. Just one quick press of the drive mode button. And we are in I-pedal, one-pedal drive mode right now. Gives you a decent amount of regen off throttle. Let's see how this handles. A little over 5,000 pound curb weight. Honestly, feels very similar to the 3.5 turbo Genesis G80, despite the extra weight. It is quick. You get all 365 horsepower at a moment's notice, at any RPM. We'll go back into comfort mode, turn on highway driving assist. This has been a pretty nice system to live with this week, as always. It will last a pretty long time with the steering assist taking over driving. It pretty much drives itself on the highway, which is pretty awesome, only prompting you about every 45 seconds or so to put your hands on the wheel. Pretty quiet on the highway, not a lot of wind noise, little bit of reverberation sounds from the tires here at speed, but again, not too bad. Definitely in line with what this should feel like on the highway in a vehicle in this class. Honestly, this Genesis G80 does a really nice job at the luxury EV game. I am very impressed here. It's a lot more easy to use and user-friendly than I think the Mercedes counterparts. We were just in an EQS. Haven't driven the new EQE yet, but was not impressed with the way the EQS drove. It was a little bit too floaty, a little bit too soft, and the concessions that you were making for aerodynamic efficiency were just too much. You felt really cramped in the front and back seats. There wasn't enough roof height or headroom, and this G80 definitely feels a lot better than that. Of course, this doesn't compete with the EQS, but the price point is a little bit more compelling too. Really impressive performance there from Highway Driving Assist, pretty much taking us that whole stretch of highway without asking for intervention. Oh boy. So you can completely disable traction and stability control, and it'll just light up that front tire when you do so. So not the best torque distribution with this dual motor all-wheel drive setup. Let's see how it does from a dig with a 0 to 60. No one behind us. Off we go. Sport mode. A little bit of a delay there, but once it senses your throttles to the floor, it takes off. Let's try that one more time with maybe a little bit of brake torquing action. Alright, that's much better. Wow, surprising amount of wheel spin from those front wheels. It is quick. I mean, all EVs are quick. It's very well balanced. It's a very nice blend of luxury, performance. It handles great still. It doesn't feel like it's really weighed down by that 87.2 kilowatt hour battery pack because all of that extra weight is so low. That's probably why you don't really notice it too much. All right, off throttle, full regen here, not pressing the brakes, bringing us down to a nice stop. There is a bit of a delay when you come off the accelerator pedal until regen kicks in. It would be nice to have a bit quicker response there. All right, with all the systems on, this puts its power down beautifully. No drama, just gets it done. One more entrance ramp, sport mode. Yeah, steering really weights up quite a bit in sport mode. That definitely takes some getting used to. I would like to see Genesis lighten up that steering just a tad. Great power on the highway though. Brakes feel okay in this G80 also. I haven't used them that much because I've mostly been using the iPedal one-pedal drive system this week, but you can modulate your braking pretty well. There's not a ton of feel. They're a little bit digital and squishy. Feels more like a button than an actual pedal clamping pad on rotor, but it's fine. No major complaints about the brakes. It's been a really nice vehicle to drive this week. Super comfortable, very easy to get in, drive, go, fantastic ergonomics. I like the philosophy of this G80 in that it's a Genesis G80 that just so happens to be electric. It's not trying to do anything different or special. It's the G80 that we really have enjoyed living with and driving. There's a new Bronco with painted fenders. That looks really good. But just with an electric powertrain, which I think feels awesome. Seatbelt tension's up if it senses you going around a corner too fast. Alright guys, so those are some thoughts on the new electrified Genesis G80. A really nice EV. For the price, 80 grand or so, this is up there. It's a lot less expensive than some of the other competitors in this category. I feel like they're all over 100 grand almost. And this hits a really nice sweet spot. A lot nicer to drive, a bit more luxurious than the Ioniq or EV6. Of course, you're paying for that extra luxury. And you're making a few concessions here in terms of interior space and trunk volume. But, if you're under 6 foot tall, this shouldn't be uncomfortable for you. All right, let's walk around this one more time, and then we will do a Lexicon sound system test and wrap the video up there. This green is a great color too. Can't remember exactly what it's called, but I'll throw that in the description along with all the other specs on this G80. Just a great looking sedan. All right, let's test out this Lexicon premium audio system. Overall, sounds pretty good in my opinion. Definitely not on the same level as Acura or Volvo's sound systems, for example, but seems pretty in line with what BMW's doing with their Harman Kardons these days. Maybe not quite as nice as the Mercedes sound systems, but for 80 grand, feels about right. Everything's leveled out. We're in reference audio right now, and yeah. Genesis always does a nice job with their Lexicon systems. They sound pretty good. Volume and track controls right here on the steering wheel on the left, and then also down here with these two sliders. Okay guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.